I need people to understand this, that I don't know if this will happen, but if the Karnataka High Court decides that, okay, we agree with the assertion that the hijab is a compulsory religious garment in Islam, that means every bloody Indian Muslim organization under the sun now has the absolute fundamental right to
And for
ask all women to dress in hijab. कि hijab पहनो, court ने बोला है. It's legally, it's legally binding upon you now to wear the hijab.
See, that's why I have a problem, because it's not about choice when it's being asked, of you. Women are asked, are expected to dress modestly. Then it's not a choice. It's no longer a choice. You're doing it because you're being asked to do so. And when it's been, it's proved in history that, it starts off
Mhm.
like this with a few women with Stockholm syndrome trying to masquerade it as a choice, and then it turns into this vicious cycle where other women are attacked with acid, they're flogged, they're killed, they're imprisoned. There are at least 5 women around the world right now facing life sentences for just protesting the hijab, and they were imprisoned when they were as young as 18. Can you imagine,
Yeah.
with their whole lives in front of them, beautiful women imprisoned just because they don't want to cover their head? And this particular piece of clothing, it's not about the freedom to wear whatever you want to, because it has historically oppressed women and it has enabled oppression and extremism. So the moment a few women come forward and masquerade the whole thing with choice, it just enables oppression of other women who are just silent through and through. So it just causes that, and that is what is very concerning. I'm all for women, can choose to wear whatever they want to, but this is not the case of choice. This is not, because the moment this becomes normalized, then others are going to be forced, and it has happened time and again, and it is currently happening in other countries
I mean, you
where,
were talking about the girl in Kashmir, right? The girl in Kashmir,
yeah,
the kind of comments that she's receiving.
yeah, it's happening in real time as this whole thing unfolds. So it's not a matter of choice. So hijab, I feel, is not a piece of garment that people can choose to or not choose to wear. I mean, I think this shouldn't be a matter to be discussed in the, it's not for a court to kind of rule on and to say that, it's allowed, because it's just going to be enforced on the others, and it has happened before, and that's something I'm extremely concerned about.
India is in a place where, ever since the independence of the country in 47, there have been times where as practices or ideas that were considered essential in a particular culture or in a particular religion have constantly been challenged, for the betterment of the society, to bring in more equality in society and to progress the society. I mean, Nehruji brought in the Hindu Code Bill, despite vigorous opposition from parts of the Hindu community who were completely opposed to it. He still brought it in because he believed personally that
Hmm.
this code bill is going to be better for the people in the long term, better for society in the long term. Same thing happened with dowry, which back then, I'm sure you could argue that parts of Hindu society were very adamant that this is an essential practice for us. Humko rakhne do dowry, don't get rid of our, don't make it illegal. But the politicians decided that, look, this is a practice that invariably, maybe not every woman, but it is going to hurt a decent chunk of women. And so if we want to support those women, protect those women, it's very important to make this practice illegal. So that was done. Same thing with caste-based discrimination. Many people would have thought, ki acha, back in the day, oh, no, 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 that distinction needs to remain, but it also got removed for the betterment of the entire society as a whole. So, the the
Uh,
the the argument that's been made in the courts right now, Rashmi, and I'll let you come into this as well, Ahmed. The argument that is being made in the courts right now is that so and so hijab is an essential part of the religion. That means it cannot be questioned. I find that argument to be complete bullshit as well. Just because something is an essential part of a religion or a culture, it cannot be questioned in a democratic country like India. That idea is completely full of shit. So I think it doesn't matter if the hijab, even if it is, tomorrow if the court says, fine, we agree that it is an essential practice, so what? If you can question the essential practices of the Hindu culture and religious practices within the Hindus, why can't we do it with other cultures and other essential practices, right? I agree with freedom of choice completely. If you want to wear the hijab, that's your business. Have at it. If you feel happy, secure, I have no issues with it. But the point is, the fundamental issue here is in Rajasthan right now, the Rajasthan government has a campaign which is talking about, ghungat uthao, dunya dekho, right? They're saying get rid of the ghungat, man. You don't need it anymore, and they are advertising this in very rural areas. Chote chote 200, 300 logon ke gaon mein bhi jaake they're showing this ad. They're saying, why are you wearing a ghungat in bloody 2022? Get rid of it. Go see the world. Be an independent woman. So it's it is a difference in standards, right? It is a difference in standards about what we are telling the Hindu women of Haryana, what we are telling the Hindu women of Rajasthan, and what we are telling the Muslim women of Karnataka. I don't believe in my heart in any way that Muslim women are any less or any more or any less rigid or any more rigid than the Hindu women. Muslim women are women, Hindu women are women. Both of them, need to be provided the institutional and social support to be able to take their own decisions. If we just tell them that, "Theek hai, if men are staring at you, then do what you need to do." Whereas I understand that point, I just personally feel that does a little bit of a disservice to them, because fine, the girls that want to wear it, they'll be happy. But like you said yourself, Ahmed, that you come from you understand the culture, and you see how on at least certain women this garment is not really a choice. This is something that they have to wear in certain families. Now those women who maybe do not want to wear it but have to wear it because of societal pressure या फिर familial pressure, उनका तो their तो life gets ruined ना, because we are telling them,
Wait, that
sorry,
is
we can't help you.
that is the difference between India and Saudi Arabia, na?
Yeah.
In Saudi, it's not a choice. A woman goes out without a hijab, the mutawa will come arrest her. In India, no. If you want to wear a hijab, you can. If you do not want to wear a hijab, you still can.
Yeah, but
But if you don't, then the society will kill you here. I mean, I've seen many
That's what I'm
rigid
saying.
families that have absolutely gone out of their way to disown their daughters or kind of create a fuss
Yeah.
and kind of create this whole scene. And I think that these suffragists, they just enforce it in so many different ways. I used to be one of those who was like, you can wear whatever you want to. You want to wear a hijab, wear it. You don't, you don't. But then I saw the suffering, and it kind of outweighed the sort of, oh, it's my choice kind of smaller construct. So that's why I just felt, I resonated with Sham when he said that we should perhaps create institutions which will actually support women who would feel otherwise, that okay, I'm feeling insecure or anything, sort of create that framework. And
yeah.
we should constitutionally sort of make provisions for that, because we have right to equality. But I mean, that's about where it stops. And then it's all about, oh, if you feel like this, then you better cover yourself up. Because
Yeah.
in fact, many leaders have gone out and said, oh, a woman gets raped because of what she wears or the time that she's out at, or it's because of her own mistakes. They've
Yeah.
been told this over and over and over again. And we've always had a problem with that. And I think this is the same thing too. I mean, if a woman feels insecure, then it's the problem of the society, and the society needs to solve it and not tell her to cover up.
Yeah, like
And
in Rajasthan and Haryana, for instance, I think the government needs to. I'm in favor of that campaign. Ye ghungat hatao, dunya dekho. Like, if you want to wear the ghungat, that's fine, but that is not how the world is. If you want to get rid of the ghungat, if you want to walk around the way a man walks around, where the man doesn't need to wear a ghungat to feel safe or feel free or feel enlightened or anything like that, you can also do it. So you can see that the governments there are trying to provide at least some institutional support to the women there in freeing themselves of a garment that maybe doesn't have a place in 21st century India.